The wind howled like a warning across the empty plains. "I'd rather die than go with you." Her voice broke, trembling but fierce. The rancher froze. For a moment even the world seemed to hold its breath. Dust swirled between them. The sky burned orange with the dying sun, and in that silence something shifted, something no one could have expected. Elias Carter had seen fear before. He had seen it in the eyes of starving men, in wounded animals caught in traps, and once in his own reflection years ago, when everything he loved had been taken from him. But this was different. The girl standing before him, barely more than 20, her dress torn, her hands shaking but clenched into fists. She wasn't just afraid. She was defiant. Her name was Lila, and she hated him. 2 hours earlier, Elias had found her collapsed near the dry creek, half-conscious, sunburned, and bleeding from a cut on her arm. Anyone else might have left her there. Out here, survival wasn't guaranteed. But Elias wasn't anyone else. He had carried her back to his ranch, laid her on his bed, cleaned her wounds, and waited for her to wake. And when she did, she had grabbed a rusted knife from the table and pointed it straight at him. "Don't come closer," she had whispered, her voice shaking. "I know what men like you do out here." That was when he stepped back. That was when she said it. "I'd rather die than go with you." Now standing in the fading light outside his barn, Elias could still feel the sting of those words. Not because they were cruel, but because, once long ago, someone he loved had said something similar, and he hadn't been able to save her. "I'm not going to hurt you," Elias said quietly, his voice steady but soft. Lila let out a bitter laugh. "That's what they all say." Her grip on the knife tightened. Her arm trembled, but she didn't lower it. Elias studied her, not as a threat, but as a broken soul trying desperately to survive. "You can leave," he said. Her eyes flickered with confusion. "What?" "I won't stop you." "The horse is saddled. There's water in the bag. If you think you're safer out there." He glanced at the endless desert stretching beyond the hills. "Wait, then go." She hesitated. That wasn't what she expected. Predators didn't offer choices. "Why?" she asked, her voice softer now. Elias took a deep breath. "Because forcing you would make me exactly what you think I am." Silence fell again. The wind slowed, and for the first time Lila lowered the knife just slightly. Minutes passed. Then something unexpected happened. Lila's knees buckled. She collapsed to the ground. Not from fear, from exhaustion, from hunger, from everything she had been holding inside for far too long. Elias rushed forward, but stopped just short of touching her. "I'm not going to hurt you," he repeated. This time she didn't pull away. That night, Lila sat by the fire inside the small ranch house. Wrapped in a blanket, her eyes distant. Elias kept his distance, sitting across from her. No questions, no pressure, just quiet. Finally she spoke. "They killed my father," she whispered. "Took everything, our land, our horses. I ran. I didn't stop running." Her voice cracked. "And every man I've met since then." She swallowed hard. They all wanted something." Elias nodded slowly. "I don't," he said. She looked up at him, searching his face for lies. She found none. Days passed. Then weeks. Lila stayed. Not because she trusted him at first, but because she had nowhere else to go. Elias never crossed a line, never raised his voice, never gave her a reason to fear him. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He gave her space. He taught her how to ride properly, how to mend fences, how to shoot. Not at people, but to protect herself if she ever needed to. And slowly, the fear in her eyes began to fade, replaced by something fragile, something new. Trust. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lila stood beside him watching the sky turn gold. "You could have forced me to stay," she said quietly. Elias didn't look at her. "Yeah, but you didn't." "No." She took a deep breath. That was the unthinkable part. He frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" She turned to him, her eyes no longer filled with fear but with something deeper. "Out here, kindness is rare. Respect is even rarer." She paused. "And you gave me both. When I least deserved it." Elias shook his head. "You deserved it more than anyone." Weeks later, riders came. The same men who had destroyed her home. They thought she was weak. They thought she was alone. They were wrong. Lila stood beside Elias, rifle in hand, her stance steady. Her fear was gone. In its place, strength. The confrontation was brief but intense. And when it was over, the men rode away, defeated. That night, Lila sat on the porch staring at the stars. Elias joined her, silent as always. After a long pause, she spoke. "I meant what I said that day," she admitted. "I really would have rather died." Elias nodded slowly. "I know." She looked at him, her eyes soft now. But you didn't give me a reason to. The wind whispered gently through the fields. For the first time in a long time, neither of them felt alone, and sometimes the most unthinkable thing a person can do is choose kindness in a world that expects cruelty.